We finally made it to the spooky season and we're kicking it off with 13 Ghosts. Now, this won't be a 1960s versus 2000s video, but more of a timeline of how and why they were made. So let's jump right in, and remember, be not afraid. If you look up the word gimmick in the dictionary, you will read, a trick or device used to attract business or attention. And right next to it is a picture of 13 Ghosts creator William Castle. I say this in jest, but he literally has a whole section in his wiki page dedicated to all the gimmicks he used. The road to the gimmicks and 13 Ghosts is a long one, so please stay with me as we unravel this story spanning 2 decades. The 2007 documentary Spine Tingler, The William Castle Story, covers his entire life and entry into show business. But I'd like to focus specifically on where I believe he found his niche. Castle began working in the technical side of the entertainment industry at 15. By 25, he contacted Orson Welles to use his theater as Welles was leaving it behind to direct Citizen Kane. Surprisingly, Welles agreed. Now with the theater on hand, he hired German actress Ellen Schwanecke for a lead role in his play. It wasn't long after that Schwanecke received an invitation from the Third Reich to perform in Germany. The actress did not want to return to Germany, and Castle took it upon himself to respond by telegram denying the request. Well, allegedly. That's what he said he did, but we are unsure if he actually did respond or not. Regardless, Castle began receiving praise for being the one to say no to Hitler. To push the publicity further, he vandalized his own theater and held a press conference saying that he will not be silenced by Nazi sympathizers. This was his first taste in marketing stunt. He eventually moved to Hollywood where he honed his skills before deciding to embark on his own independent projects in the 1950s. And this is when 13 Ghosts comes in along with his famous gimmicks. Around this time, the home television was seen as a threat to movies, and movie studios began taking advertising seriously. Using his filmmaking experience and his past publicity stunt, William Castle released his first independent movie, Macabre, in 1958 with a $1,000 life insurance policy in case of death by fright. In 1959, House on Haunted Hill featured Emergo, a pulley system that flew a plastic skeleton over the audience. That same year, The Tingler introduced Percepto, vibrating motors attached to the seats to mimic the on-screen monster. Which brings us to 13 Ghosts. 13 Ghosts featured Illusiono, a technique that employs the audience to don special viewers to see the ghosts on screen. I tried it with the standard 3D glasses and closing one eye, and was pretty surprised at how well it works. Personally, I think he found the gimmick first and then wrote a script surrounding it. This is because William Castle got the idea of the ghost viewer when he visited an eye doctor and the newest photoruptor machine had come out, and he thought to himself, what if you can see ghosts through this? The movie was released in July 1960 to mixed reviews, but it didn't matter. The movie was made in good fun with a cheap and easy gimmick that turned in a profit. After 13 Ghosts, Castle went on to create more gimmicky films with varying degrees of success until the horror movie industry changed, making him a relic of the past. Castle eventually passed on May 1977, but forgotten he was not. His story stuck with us, and we will remember him for the great showman that he was. In honor of his legacy, a trio of men came together to form a production company called Dark Castle in 1999. Memorize this guy's face, he's relevant later on. Their company goal was to remake the entirety of William Castle's filmography. The first one off the lot was House on Haunted Hill, with the second being 13 Ghosts. The reason for these two being chosen was for financial reasons. William Castle made single set films that always turned a profit, and Dark Castle wanted to follow in those steps. The 2001 13 Ghosts remake kept the basic story elements from the original. Both films revolve around a family that inherits a haunted house from a wealthy relative who dedicated their life to hunting ghosts. The biggest difference between the films was that the ghosts in the 1960s version were pretty lame and are clearly there just for the sake of the gimmick. In all honesty, they're not that different from those Halloween projector decorations that have those dancing skeletons or ghosts. But back on production, the 2001 version was directed by Steve Beck. 13 Ghosts was his directorial debut. However, he had already been working in Hollywood as an art director and commercial productions at ILM. In a pair of podcast interviews, Beck tells a story of how he got attached to the movie. He says that he worked on a set of commercials that were seen by Joel Silver. Joel Silver was one of the 3 men that found Dark Castle. So Silver saw the commercial and was so impressed by Beck's work that he called him up and basically told him that he's hired.
And so over the course of like 3 Super Bowls, we, did some, I think, phenomenal work for a bank of all places. And to your point, it did catch the eye of folks down in Hollywood. And I just simply got a phone call one day, and it was, Joel Silver on the line.
If you know Joel's background, he's quite a prolific producer. But anyways, I just got a call at the, out of the blue, requesting a meeting. We went down and spoke with him, and he just said, you're the guy. We're not even auditioning. You kind of start on Monday.
Once on set, Beck got to work, and with good faith, he was allowed to hire the team he used for his commercials. The remake was released on October 26, 2001 to mixed reviews. Both films share horror as a genre, with the 60s version being differentiated by mystery and the 2001 version being fantasy. In length, the Dark Castle version is slightly longer by 7 minutes. That same movie came in second on its opening weekend behind K-Pax and ahead of From Hell. I checked the second week of the box office expecting it to get first place based on word of mouth, but it just looks like it got completely buried by 3 new releases that weekend, with the #1 spot being Monsters, Inc. Right now, it's at 5.6 out of 10 on IMDb, a 30 on Metacritic, and the users on Letterboxd have scored it a 2.6 out of 5. On Rotten Tomatoes, the critics score it at 19%, with the audience being a bit warmer to it, holding it down at 49%. Very wide range of scores depending on the platform. Lastly, Roger Ebert echoes the same thing as a lot of the audience. The production is first rate. The physical look of the picture is splendid. The screenplay is dead on arrival, he writes. The experience of watching the film is literally painful and it hurts the eyes and ears. And yeah, the biggest complaint that everybody had on the film was definitely the editing. Oh my god, the editing. It is definitely the single most complaint that the movie has, and the director agrees with everybody. That being said, the home sales of the DVD and Blu-rays have allowed it to grow into a certified cult film, and I believe it's due to the unique ghost designs and especially the bonus features that greatly expanded the lore. The ending doesn't really lend itself for a sequel, and so one was never attempted. However, many fans have been wishing for a series where each episode explores the life of a different ghost during their time alive, and the studio suits have heard their wishes. As of August 2023, a series that follows a ghost per episode format has been pitched to Dark Castle. It's been a year since the pitch was reported, so we'll see if it's actually moving forward. Thank you for watching, and if you liked this video, browse around my uploads to see if there's another movie you'd like to learn about. If not, here's another scary movie you might be interested in.